Highlanders all over the shop. Crusaders and Drua, the Reds upsetting the Chiefs. They're the only team to beat them in the round robin last year. Rebels are top 4. Go figure. And a cracking game in Wellington. Justin Marshall with us, 81 Test veteran of the All Blacks. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's nice to be back, Marty. You're absolutely right. What a great round of Super Rugby, but really hard to be able to predict any of the results, wasn't it? Man, so many upsets and very exciting to see that the Australian teams are now finally competing.
There's a classic commentator's curse we're going to bring in as well later on, because it was as soon as you said it in the Canes game, I was roaring. I was just saying, please, Perifetta, miss this, because I wanted to bring it back today. Let's start off, though, in Lautoka on Saturday, Justin, and we exchanged a couple of messages after this. The Crusaders are 0-3. They're in a real hole at the moment. You came out with a great stat that since 2012 was the last time that they lost 3 matches in a row. When you were playing, of course, and you did your Achilles, you were 1-3 back in '98. They came back from that. But the key message I got from you is they didn't deserve to win this game, and I thought their second half was as poor as I've ever seen them play.
Yep, we did exchange those messages, and I certainly won't go back on them just because we're talking now to the public. You know, like at the end of the day, the Crusaders didn't deserve to win that match. You know, they were basically not really ever in the contest to a degree. Yes, they got, away to not a bad start, but from there on in, it was the same old problems that they've been experiencing throughout this competition, which is dropping the ball, their line-out dysfunctional again. I've never, ever seen a Crusaders scrum be pushed off the ball by a Fijian scrum or even an Drua scrum. So, you know, that goes to show that there are some problems, but, you know, just disjointed, game plan lacking rhythm. Conversely, you know, Fiji do what they do when they're playing in Lautoka. They're difficult. They'll play with tempo. They're unpredictable. And they just went out and did nothing spectacular in terms of what you don't expect from the Enduro when you play them. So the Crusaders weren't ambushed. They just weren't good enough.
Look, I also thought, looking at their game in Lautoka, you know, what a shame that the All Blacks aren't going up there to Fiji. I mean, you know, you do it once, I tell you what, it'd last a lifetime, wouldn't it? What a brilliant crowd that they had. It really puts a lot of pressure on Rob Penny, who I know that you know well as well. How's he going to respond here, Justin?
Well, there's nothing that can supplement pressure. You know, like there's no way to try and hide from it. There's no way that you can not feel the presence of it when you're at training and when you're in the meeting rooms. The players are aware of it, more particularly the leadership group. The captain gets even more pressure, and the coach more than him, because they're responsible for the team's performance. So it won't be sitting well with Rob Penny. And the fact that, you know, the Crusaders have now got themselves into a position of losing 3 and are now staring down the barrel of history. You know, they're looking at losing 4 for the first time ever in a very, 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 very long time. He'll be feeling it. And, you know, they've not got an easy task in a very confident Hurricane side coming down unbeaten, playing good rugby. It puts more pressure on, knowing that you've got a quality team to try and dig yourself out of a hole. And equally, in saying that, if you can tap into the Crusaders' DNA, and we've spoken about this before, but it's not quite there at the moment, it's slightly missing, this is the perfect storm for them. You know, they're under pressure, they're being criticised, we're questioning whether or not they're even going to make the semi-finals, finals at all this year. Players not in form, you know, selection issues, coach under pressure, good team coming to town, boom, grit your teeth, we'll show everybody, home crowd, get stuck in.
Go on, see, this is it. I love it. I mean, and straight away we've got something massive to look forward to on Friday night. All right, we'll just park the Hurricanes in a moment because I want to bring that up a bit later. Highlanders went to the Waratahs and won that game, which I think is a massively significant result for Clark Dermody and his team. This is a Waratahs side that had beaten the Crusaders, and that's a Highlanders side that have won 2 out of 3. And, you know, it's the same as the Rebels who've won 2 out of 3. The Blues, Reds, you know, all these teams, the Chiefs have won 2 out of 3. But for a Highlanders side that have struggled and struggled and struggled, how important winning away at home at that place?
Very important, and they are a good side, the Waratahs, and they had Hannigan back and equally Parisi. That made them a more dangerous side, you know, from the week before. So they were more than capable, and I genuinely, if I was making picks, I wouldn't have thought the Highlanders would win that game. I would have thought that they'd be in the contest, but they wouldn't probably have the firepower to win it. And then obviously they had internal problems during the week to stand down Withy, and equally their captain Billy Harmon, because of discipline problems, absolutely reeks of Jamie Joseph. That's not Clark Dermody, that's Jamie Joseph saying it doesn't matter who you are, who you think you are in terms of status in this team. If you don't live by our standards and our culture, then you are going to get the same punishment that somebody that hasn't even played a game is going to get. So that can sometimes cause a little bit of disharmony. Well, it didn't, did it? It worked, it galvanised, and they came together as a team. They worked hard. They've got some firepower that we've spoken about that they haven't had, particularly in the back four from Talia out. They look very, very good, and they formulated a really nice win against a very difficult opponent.
Would you have picked the Reds to upset the Chiefs? We talk about bogey teams in sport, don't we? And everyone remembers New Plymouth, where the the Reds last year held out 20-something phases. They repeated that on the weekend. That, to me, was the biggest shock result of all. I just didn't think the way the Chiefs were playing, I thought they'd wipe the floor with them.
Yep, so did I. And I thought that the Chiefs, the week before looked really, really good. The tempo, I spoke to you about it last week, just the tempo, the skill set, the pace that they played with was so impressive. I think I said to you, my words were that no team in the competition, let alone on the planet, could handle that sort of energy they brought to the game. I felt a bit sorry for the opposition. But in this case, there was the same and similar type of start, but the Reds didn't falter. They didn't lose, I guess, their ability to want to think, they're a good side. Yes, they've shown us they can score tries, but equally, when they fire punches, we're going to fire them back. And they scored some really good tries, some of them constructed, some of them through good fortune or, just vision. And they're fronting up front. Their set piece was good, and a bit of a worry for the Chiefs, to be honest, because, the games like that you sometimes think that you should be banking if you want to be finishing top of the log, dropping a game like that will make them wonder exactly where they're at as a team.
Oh, I'm just watching it out the side of the screen here, bro, as well. And Australia's starting to hit a couple of boundaries here. People, I don't like this. They're now up. Yeah, I know. See, your reaction's my reaction, mate. I know. You need to kick the crap out of them, don't you, when they're down? Because it's just that you give them a slight wriggle, man. And look, this is what I love about their team, like I love the All Blacks, mate. If you open the door to us just slightly, they will make you pay. And that's what they're doing at the moment, 168 for 5. We're maybe an over away from lunch. Justin, I get myself bogged down with, talking about tactics, talking about players, does it really come back sometimes to just the simple things like physically owning your opponent, like tackling hard, like backing the guy outside you? I looked at the Reds like that. I looked at the Hurricanes like that, who were down on manpower, but really disappointing again from the Blues, I thought, because it was just that really basic things that they didn't do.
Yeah, again, they didn't, and particularly in that first half when they created numerous chances inside the 22 of the Hurricanes, and they didn't convert really any of them. Quite ambitious as well from Dalton Papali'i, the captain, at times turning down points to go for more, and then the Hurricanes' defence was really resilient, didn't let them in, then they made an error, and all of a sudden that just starts snowballing on you. Okay, now we're behind because the Hurricanes go away, and they're really effective inside their 22. They're always coming away with points. So now you find yourself further away on the scoreboard, so it's not like we'll take the 3 now. It's like we need to go for 7 or 5. So yeah, some of their execution in the areas of the field where they should be getting points wasn't good. Obviously massive decision to go with the 6-2 split on the bench. That really hurt them, losing 2 backs in that opening quarter, and them both not being able to come back upsets the rhythm and the game plan. Look, I thought they showed some character to stay in the game. Given that they had players out of position, they had to adjust and adapt their game plan because of that. To stay in the fight was good, but yeah, I think they could have been better and could have been in a much stronger position had they converted a lot of their pressure in the first half. And the Hurricanes, well, they just look a different outfit. They look like they're prepared to go to the well this year. Clark Laidlaw has obviously instilled a bit of grit in them. He's obviously got them fit from a sevens background. And they showed some real fight, particularly on defence. At times they would concede and they'd drift. Here they stayed tough mentally and they defended their line with resilience, and they deserved their win.